The mysterious man died, leaving Gi-hun with unanswered questions. Meanwhile, Jun-ho successfully traced Gi-hun's location to the motel. What will happen when they confront each other? As Gi-hun stood in shock over the man's body, Jun-ho arrived at the motel and began searching for him. While checking the rooms, Jun-ho stumbled upon Woo-seok's remaining man, Choi, tied up in one of them. Jun-ho demanded answers and learned Gi-hun's room number. He rushed there, only to find Gi-hun standing over the body. Jun-ho ordered him to surrender to the police, but before he could act, Choi appeared from behind and knocked Jun-ho out with a fire extinguisher. When Jun-ho regained consciousness, Choi explained how he had worked with Woo-seok and that the mysterious man had killed his boss. Meanwhile, Gi-hun searched the dead man's pocket and found a card with a date and location written on it, possibly a lead to the masterminds. Gi-hun tied up Jun-ho to question him. Jun-ho revealed that he had met Gi-hun during the game before, shocking Gi-hun. Initially skeptical, Gi-hun accused him of being a masked guard, but Jun-ho explained that he had infiltrated the game to search for his brother. To prove it, Jun-ho reminded Gi-hun about a guard who had asked him about a man named In-ho during the game. Gi-hun recalled the moment and reluctantly believed Jun-ho. Gi-hun questioned Jun-ho about the details of the man everyone referred to as the front man, the mastermind behind the twisted game. Jun-ho revealed that he didn't know much, only that the front man always wore a gray hood and a black mask, concealing his identity. However, Gi-hun gave Jun-ho a condition that if he wanted to join the mission to find the masterminds, he had to quit his job as a police officer. Gi-hun then led Jun-ho and Choi to his secret room, where he had stashed his winnings from the game. He revealed a hidden passage in the room that led to an area filled with firearms. Gi-hun offered the space to Jun-ho and Choi as a safe haven and a place to practice shooting whenever they needed to prepare for the dangerous journey ahead. Gi-hun, determined to keep the promise he made to his friend Se-byuk during the game, visited an agent. Se-byuk, who had formed a strong bond with Gi-hun before her death in the game, had asked him to take care of her family. While Gi-hun had already ensured her brother was safe, her mother was still in a camp. Gi-hun handed the agent a large sum of money to help Se-byuk's mother, fulfilling the last of his promises. As Gi-hun left, another woman entered the office, No-eul. The agent sighed in frustration at No-eul's persistence. She begged him once again to help her find her one-year-old daughter. The agent reminded her of the grim reality. After No-eul had shot an officer in North Korea and fled to the south, it was highly unlikely that her daughter could have survived in such a place. However, since there had been no official report of her daughter's body or death, No-eul clung to hope and was determined to keep searching. No-eul lived a harsh life, sleeping in her car and working as an entertainer. One day during a show, she dressed as a pink bunny, handed a candy to a little girl in the audience. Later, back in the dressing room, the same girl followed her to give her a drawing she had made. No-eul was delighted by the sweet gesture and kept the drawing. However, the girl noticed scars on No-eul's wrists and innocently asked her about them. Startled and uncomfortable, No-eul pulled her hand back. Moments later, the girl's father arrived, taking her away. Later, her colleagues discuss how the little girl has blood cancer and her father is very poor. One night, while No-eul was sleeping in her car, she was startled by a knock on her window. When she rolled it down, a mysterious figure handed her the same ominous card that had once invited people to the deadly Squid Game. Jun-ho was having dinner with his mother when a heartfelt detail about his past was revealed. His brother, In-ho, was adopted. Despite this, In-ho had once donated one of his kidneys to save Jun-ho's life, a sacrifice that highlighted the depth of their bond. The next day, during a children's show, the little girl eagerly waited for the pink bunny to give her candy, as it had done before. However, this time, the bunny didn't give her any. Meanwhile, at the office, No-eul informed her boss that she wanted to quit her job. Just as she was leaving, the pink bunny costume entered, revealing that someone else had been wearing it earlier. Alarmed and suspicious, No-eul left the building. As she stepped outside, she saw the little girl's father running frantically toward an ambulance. Inside lay the little girl unconscious. No-eul's concern grew, and she decided to follow them to the hospital. Elsewhere, Gi-hun was taking calculated steps for his safety and mission. He had one of his teeth removed and replaced with a new tooth embedded with a tracker chip. This device would allow Choi to monitor Gi-hun's location, ensuring they could act swiftly in case of danger. At the hospital, No-eul quietly entered the little girl's room. She stood by her bed for a moment. her emotions conflicted, before leaving without a word. Meanwhile, Choi was busy assembling a skilled team before Gi-hun made his move to the club mentioned on the mysterious card. The team was led by a man named Kim, known for his extensive experience in high-risk operations. For days, the group had been training in Gi-hun's secret area, preparing for whatever dangers might lie ahead. Gi-hun decided that Junho would not join him at the club. The guards on the island had seen Junho's face before, and his presence could jeopardize the mission. Instead, Gi-hun instructed Junho and Choi to use the tracker in his tooth to follow his location in case things went wrong. Before leaving for the club, Gi-hun felt an emotional pull and decided to call his daughter. Despite keeping his distance from her to protect her from danger, he longed to hear her voice. When she picked up, Gi-hun stayed silent. But his daughter immediately recognized him and softly said, "Dad," leaving him both comforted and heartbroken. Elsewhere, No Yul, holding the card, made a fateful decision. She called the number on it and confirmed her participation in the game. After hanging up, she burned the card. Overwhelmed with emotions, she also burned the drawing the little girl had given her. Junho waited in the car outside while Gi-hun and Choi entered the club. To disguise himself, Choi wore a green horse mask. Inside, Gi-hun scanned the crowd for the man in the gray hood and black mask. Meanwhile, Junho spotted men in pink suits, the guards entering the club. Sensing trouble, he followed them inside. Inside the club, one of the guards led Gi-hun away, while another tasered Choi, leaving him unconscious. When Junho entered, he found Choi on the ground and noticed Gi-hun being escorted outside. Junho quickly alerted the team to be ready as Gi-hun followed the guards to a waiting white limo and got inside. Junho watched the limo drive off and instructed the team to track it, following discreetly from a safe distance. Inside the limo, Gi-hun was greeted by a voice over a mic calling him Player 456. The voice chastised Gi-hun for not boarding the plane, saying it would have been the best choice he could have made. Gi-hun demanded that the game be stopped, accusing the organization of exploiting desperate people for the entertainment of their wealthy clients. The voice coldly replied that participation was voluntary and that those who lost their lives were merely trash being eliminated. He added that as long as the world didn't change, the game would continue. As the limo reached a quieter location, Junho ordered his team to intercept it. However, guards sniped at the team's vehicles, shooting out their tires. Determined, Junho tried to follow the limo alone, but found his car had been sabotaged with a small bomb, preventing him from moving forward. Hearing the chaos through his earpiece, Gi-hun pulled out his gun and fired at the limo's windows, but they were bulletproof. In a bold move, Gi-hun made a shocking proposition. He wanted to re-enter the game. He argued that it would excite the clients to see a previous winner return, and insisted that he would prove the man wrong about how the world works. Junho, listening through the earpiece, was stunned by Gi-hun's plan. As Gi-hun finished speaking, gas was released inside the limo, knocking him unconscious. Before passing out, the window rolled down, and Gi-hun caught a glimpse of the man in the gray hood and black mask. Junho traced the location of the limo and informed his team that Plan B was now in effect. Meanwhile, No Yul arrived at the designated pickup location for her participation in the game. She stepped into the back of a truck, which transported her to an unknown facility. Inside, she was directed to a small chamber marked with the number 11. In the chamber, she changed her clothes to a pink uniform and mask, the attire of the game's guards. Now that Gi-hun is back in the game, how will he put an end to it? What is Junho's plan B? And why was No Yul chosen to participate as a guard instead of a player? Stay with us to know more.